Suburban Sentinel here, taking a little afternoon coffee with my feathered friends. Today I want to talk a little bit about positivity in prepping. In most instances, I see a lot of negativity centered around the art and science of emergency preparedness. It seems that a lot of preppers are focused on these dystopian post-apocalyptic scenarios where they're ready to have to fend off bands of marauders or turn away or shoot their neighbors who have no resources and that type of thing. Certainly, I'm not saying that this type of situation where people are ready to kill each other over the last can of tuna will not happen or is impossible, but that is essentially the worst case scenario. Of course, we would like to be ready for most anything to the maximum extent practicable, but we really don't want to dwell on these worst case apocalyptic scenarios. Negative attitudes can profoundly and adversely impact us. Now, I'm not a shrink and I'm not a medical doctor, but I have seen the ill effects that negativity has on both the body and mind of ordinary people. It is certainly difficult to divorce negative thinking from having to prepare for catastrophes and other scenarios that we generally perceive as negative. However, we can prep in a more positive light. Negativity and often the resulting stress causes us to make poor decisions, not see the truth as to what is really going on, makes us lose hope, and can hurt our relationships with family and friends. When it comes to prepping, I try to focus on three things. First, by being prepared for emergencies, my family, my immediate family, will be safer, more secure, and in the event something goes wrong, more comfortable as a result of our taking steps to prepare in advance. So that's a positive thing. Second, if there is an emergency and we are well prepared, we will be in a position to directly assist other people. I'm well aware that in the prepper community there's a train of thought that kind of goes something to the effect of, hey, people ridicule and laugh at us preppers. Therefore, if something goes wrong and these other people who didn't prep need our help, screw them. It's their fault. They should have prepped and they shouldn't have made fun of us. Now, I fully understand and appreciate those sentiments. However, I think it's important that we remain compassionate to those who, for whatever reason, did not or could not make some preparations for emergencies. Certainly, I'm not saying we should throw our doors open and offer everything we have to our neighbors, but when we have extra and our immediate families are secure, I think it's our obligation as human beings to help one another as much as possible. Besides rendering direct assistance, by virtue of us as individuals making emergency preparations, we help our communities indirectly. One of our neighbors down the street is an elderly couple. And when we were hit with Hurricane Sandy, they were in their probably very late 80s. And they're in reasonably good health and good condition, but they are elderly. Now, they have a daughter who's fairly local. She lives a couple of towns away, and it's probably 12 or 14 miles. But after the storm, with all the trees and utility poles and wires down, 12 or 14 miles might as well have been 100 miles. The roads were choked. So what my wife and I did is we took turns looking in on this elderly couple 3 times a day. And they also have an elderly dog. I think it's like a 14-year-old pit bull. But anyway, because we were able to look in on this couple and we had more than adequate resources if they needed them, the daughter did not feel compelled to take the big risk of trying to get to her parents' house. So because this elderly couple knew they weren't on their own, there was less stress on them. Less stress on them meant that they were less likely to make a foolish mistake and need help. It was also less stress on them because they didn't have to worry about their daughter taking risks in trying to get home, back to her parents' house. The daughter was under less stress because she knew her parents were being looked after. So she was less likely to need help herself, as she was more likely to make good decisions. As the daughter was able to stay home, that was one less car on the road that could potentially interfere with the first responder and tree clearing crews, the electric company, the phone company, etc., etc. So like ripples out in a pond, it took some of the strain off the community. So by focusing on these positive aspects of prepping, we can keep a more positive mental attitude and be more likely to survive without losing our humanity. So, thanks for watching. This is the Suburban Sentinel out here with the Feathered Friends. Questions and enlightening comments are always welcome. Please thumbs up and subscribe if you like what you see. Prep and be safe, everybody.